Hello guys, and welcome to the weekly episode of the Claret Lounge talk show. Once again, I'm joined by Connor. Connor, welcome in.
Hi.
Dave. I know, no worries. It's been a very busy week this week in the Claret world. From winning the way to the Claret for Change movement. So we're going to start off with the game, or the games, the past form over the past weeks of Chelmsford City. Connor, let's get straight into it. And our form lately has been nowhere near good enough. 6 on the trot, loss. Not many positives from the past few weeks. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you can look at the last 6 and then also league as a whole, and there's getting these losses is a lot of it. When you look at it, has to be down to a lack of sort of goal creation and goal threat, because at least the last 5 games lost them all by a margin of 1 goal.
Yeah.
And only conceding a maximum of 2 goals, but typically either 1 or 2 goals, but just struggling to get goals ourselves. If we've suddenly, I think when you look at the league, we've got around sort of the 4th best defence currently, for goals conceded in the league. Yet when it comes to goals scored, we're down with around, I think we're around fifth from bottom for goals scored. So that's the big reason it seems to be that's really bringing us down. Unfortunately I didn't attend well in a way, but I did see the highlights.
Yeah.
But in terms of I know you went there, so you'll be better to speak on it. But from what I understand, from watching the game, goal conceded, it does appear as well. A lot of the goals that we have also conceded as well, even though there hasn't been many, there have been sloppy errors and mistakes, and there's been a lot of it. I think one of the most notable ones when I saw the replay was the Havant and Waterlooville, and there's been other games like that from Eastbourne when we played them. They shouldn't have scored that goal.
No.
There's a lot of games recently where you get rid of those mistakes and then suddenly we're getting draws instead of losses, which puts us a bit higher up. But I think a lot of it, from just looking at the squad, does very much appear to be relying way too much upon youth. When you've got players as young as, from what I understand, 17, having to play now quite regularly and play most of the games. That's not showing a side that's going to be pushing for playoffs. That's showing a side that's got a lack of depth. And yeah, it's all good. It's all good playing a youngster, but it's best if you're going to play a youngster to have experience around them so they can feed off it. If you're just putting a team that's got way too many youngsters on, all you're going to end up doing is sort of crippling their morale
100%.
and lowering their hopes going forward. And it is a shame to see, because you can tell, especially how much it means. I saw after the Dartford game how much it means to the players, like how frustrated they are with the losses and how much they do want the wins. They're showing it on the pitch. There's nothing. I think the fans can't fault them for the effort they're putting in, but there is something critically wrong with sort of the management higher up that have allowed the team to get into this position.
Yeah, it's got to be down to the budget. We've been told it's a small budget. I think it's could cost us this year. I think the closing date for any transfers is coming up next few days. We've seen no player come in the past 24 hours, 48 hours. So now it's probably too late to get anybody in. We've seen one loan signing from Dudley at the weekend, Dion. He's a striker, quite a tall lad, a bit of pace, strong. So hopefully he can score some goals for us. Hasn't been scoring many goals for Dulwich. Hopefully he can do something for us. I just feel I sat here last week and I was for 10 minutes. It's pure passion. It is not scripted. Me and Connor brief chat about what we're doing on the show. But like I said to Connor earlier, I left at the stadium deflated, angry, upset. I sat on the coach on the way home from Welling, and it was so quiet. It wasn't a football coach. No one's happy. And lately, fans have left this club that they love because of communication from the owners. I ain't gonna pick out names, but our owners. The lack of communication, the lack of doing what they said in the past they're going to do. They said they would be professional on the pitch and off the pitch. On the pitch, I can see Robbie trying to do that. Off the pitch is far, far away from being professional. So lately, over the past few days, a very large group. It's not one person, not two people, not three people. A very large group of Chelmsford City supporters who love this club, who have supported it most of their life, who are fed up, who are upset. Some have been thrown away by this poor management of this club. Come together, being united, and formed the Claret for Change. And I can confirm I am part of this. I'm not ashamed to say that. It's for me, it's something that I want to be part of from day one. I think it's the right thing to do. It's a club that we want to have for the future. A club that we want to bring our kids to when we have kids. To bring our friends to. To bring the girlfriends to, Connor, To bring our mum and dads, granddads. It's a community club. A community club. That's why we're doing this. We didn't want to do this. We've had Q&As with the chairmans. We've heard from the owners. We've heard all these promises, and the promises don't come through. And that's what's happened. So today, the supporters who are part of this group put a statement out. So I'm just going to read it out quickly. Claret for Change is a large, inclusive group of supporters, young and old. Our message is simple. The attitude of the owner and chairman towards the club and the supporters has to change. For too long, we have lived under a cloud of false promises and uncertainty. And we've all had enough. This is not an ousting. This is not a personal attack on the chairman or the owner. Our campaign to open dialogue with the club, to bring change and to make fans alike for the voice is being heard. For now, we ask supporters who agree with us to continue using the Claret for Change hashtag on social media, and we thank you for the support we have received so far. Claret for Change. It's been incredible 24 hours, what I'll to you. And to see everyone sharing their thoughts, sharing their memories. I've never seen this happen. I didn't think it would happen, if I'm honest. But there's unity. The City fans are united. And it shows you how much they care and how much they love. It's, and probably looking outside thinking, why are they making a fuss? Why do they care? This is what matters to us. We love this club. We want to see it succeed. Connor, as you're sort of a new fan, coming in, not new fan, but you haven't, always, haven't been around for a long period of time. You do some research into maybe communication that has maybe affected relationship between the supporters and maybe ownership of the club. What do you think? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I actually went and did some research today, and yeah, I got managed to find some of these from the non-league football paper articles because currently Chelmsford City chairman does
He
write
was. I
into
think he
the.
was doing it. He was doing it.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was. But yeah, I got some articles, and on the topic of sort of attitude towards the supporters, there was two notable ones because that really stood out to me, which made me think, okay, I really understand what the fans are getting at as someone sort of new and I guess maybe a bit more of an outsider to the club looking in. But yeah, there was one back in. So these are recent articles as well. One was September 2021. One was October 2021. So sort of both around 6 months, only 6 months old. September ones. Chairman wrote, "You can please some of the people all of the time. You can please all of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time." Or so said the 15th century monk and poet John Lydgate. He was obviously never chairman of a football club, or maybe just never Chelmsford City Football Club, because I can guarantee that there are few fans we can never please. That really stood out to me. It seemed very disrespectful to Chelmsford City fans, especially as someone where you're the chairman of the club, you represent the club, and you also essentially represent the fans. And then to speak out against them like that, it's like, yeah, I might not been a, I guess, yeah, I might have not been coming along regularly to Chelmsford City for that long, but I am a football fan. Actually, um, because of my parents, I've been for a lot longer sort of a West Ham fan, and they've had their own a lot of their own issues with owners and
Mm.
saying bad things that have really angered the fans, and this is very similar to that, I feel. And then the next article in October 21, yet again the chairman wrote, he was talking about after a defeat to Harrow Borough in the FA
Mm-hmm.
Cup.
Yeah.
Um, he talked about he received some messages asking about sacking the manager, I believed, and he talked about how he received abuse and people telling him that he was destroying the club and supporters and losing supporters. And his response was, "The truth is, the club was broken long before I got involved, and to be honest, I'm not sure what glory is some fans are reflecting on." This is yet another extremely sort of like, I guess, insensitive statement that stands out to me, which sort of is rude to sort of the great history that Chelmsford City holds. Like, I'm no chairman of the club, but I understand I feel like I understand the history that you wouldn't ever say something like that. Like, this is a club that formerly had the likes of Jimmy Greaves, Alan Brazil, and all of these like great players come for play from a while ago when Jimmy Greaves played for him, went and played in against Italian
Yeah.
sides, and like it's it's a long running club with a lot of history. Like, just shows that this this speaks of someone who runs a club but doesn't understand fan relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I
And
totally
this
agree.
is
I totally agree with you.
yeah, and this is how it looks to me as someone looking out. I'm sure that you probably have some things to
Uh,
say that you know that which haven't been picked up in articles
Absolutely.
from like yeah.
I just think like if we were Chelmsford City Football Club, one of the biggest non-league clubs in this area, you know, I get to train at Chelmsford every single week. I get to train there every single week at Chelmsford. And what am I welcomed by? Oh, not a sign saying Chelmsford City Football Club is here. It's welcome to Essex Cricket Club. We should be saying, this is where we are. This is who we are. Pictures of players, pictures of community work we do. You know, there's a lot of boys and girls up there who don't even know Chelmsford City exists because of through like poor, advertisement and things like that. I still think it could be improved how we put things on social media. I see nothing on match days about come get down early, watch the game on the TV and things like that. It's great doing a pie and a pint deal, but you ain't telling people what you're doing at the club. I understand the club are trying to do more things and the players speak at the game, but they could be put out on social media much more in advance than a day before. Going, we have Callum Jones coming down and talking to the players or talking to the crowd. It's got to be done earlier. I just feel there's a lack of commercial activity in the club that could provide extra investment into the clubhouse. It's hard not to get passionate because I've been doing this for a long time, watching this club, supporting this club for a long time, and I say it, and people. I know that I ain't gonna be anybody's friend for saying it, or the people who watch this, because I know certain people watch this from the club. So hello, they have opinions, and end of the day, even though I am part of the sports club committee, I'm also Dave, the Chelmsford City fan who's been watching City, who cares for City, who watched it with Grandad for 20 odd years as well. So it's time to speak up. It's time to speak up, and I encourage Chelmsford City fans to share their memories, to share their favourite moments across social media with pictures, videos, using the Claret for Change hashtag. So if you do that, make sure a picture, a memory, a funny moment, share it with us. And is there anything else you want to add to what I've said today?
Yeah, there was just some. It seems like, I guess, one of the big notable turning points in the current sort of running of the club appears to be like also around when Stringer got removed as manager, and then the whole rehiring of getting a new manager wasn't a simple one either.
It's
like, that was
debacle.
another thing.
A debacle one, it really.
Yeah, it was like, well, this is all publicly available stuff that I sourced from the non-league football paper today. But like some other things sort of stood to me as a fan looking out, like as a football indecision, as someone like it appears like when Stringer got removed, like it didn't make make much sense at all. He wasn't doing like that badly to warrant getting removed, it seems. And like he even said it himself that he feels it wasn't down to his performance, it was due to a clash of personalities, which goes to say something. And he even said it himself that he didn't see this as a football decision at all. Then there was a massive debacle around getting a new manager in with Gary Hill was originally meant to be the new manager, but then there was a whole issue about
money.
Money essentially. The owners said that the one thing that they couldn't understand, because they said, was that with a 2-year contract there was no break clause or termination clause, and they said that's not something I've come across in business. Well, that's because this isn't a business, it's football, it's different. 2-year, 1-year contracts are normal. It's normal to give a player a 2-year contract with no break clause and stuff, so it shouldn't be that unusual for a manager, especially as someone who, when I read through, Gary Hill had quite a good a great resume for the job. And then also in that article, Gary Hill did mention about the budget being reduced, and that was February 2020, and he was told that he agreed to work with a reduced budget, and the budget was getting reduced by 20%. So that was back in February 2020. So that goes to show a bit of I guess that right there is proof that there is budget cuts, and that the board are not only having falling issues with relationships with fans, but also managers who are actually got a lot of experienced managers.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the only sort of other bits I had to say from my sort of
Point of view.
like background research today.
Perfect.
But yeah, if you got anything else to say, but yeah, thanks again for having me on.
No, I'm gonna say a few things quickly. I just want to say this is not, like I said earlier, this is not a shot at Steve Shaw, a personal attack on Steve Shaw. This is a message from the supporters that we want to open dialogue, we want to see change happen. And this is a plea for help, to help us improve before it's too late. Over the past few hours, I've been thinking how to end today's video. I'll end it on one note. John Holmes, Dan Watkins, Steve Shaw. You're the owners, the chairman. You own the club. But don't be mistaken. This is our city. This is our club. Thanks for watching.